Picture yourself on an escalator, not the kind that carries you up. This one is moving down. And no matter how fast you climb, the steps keep sliding away beneath you, dragging you back toward the bottom. That is the British economy in 2026 for millions of working people. You get the pay rise, you get the promotion, the number on your payslip goes up. And yet, at the end of the month, you feel exactly where you started, sometimes further behind. Why? Because the escalator is rigged. Inflation eats the raise, the taxman takes his slice, and a handful of hidden financial traps are quietly designed to keep you precisely where you are, working hard, staying stuck, sprinting up a staircase that is running down. Today we are going to expose 5 of them, 5 British financial traps engineered to keep the working class working and the wealthy pulling away. By the end, you will see the escalator for what it is, and you will know how to step off it. Let us begin. Trap 1. The interest-only life. Walk into almost any living room in Britain, and you will find it. The £3,000 sofa, the wall-mounted television the size of a small car, the phone that costs more than a month of rent, and almost none of it is owned. It is financed. Nothing to pay for 12 months. Spread the cost. Only £50 a month. The modern high street has learned a simple truth. People will not ask what something costs. They will only ask what the monthly payment is. Here is the trap. When you buy status on monthly payments, you are not buying a sofa. You are renting your own lifestyle back to yourself, with interest attached. Every direct debit is a tiny bar in a cage, and the cage is not made of metal, it is made of obligation. Because the moment your income is spoken for before it even lands, you lose the one thing that wealth is supposed to buy you: choice. You cannot leave the job you hate. You cannot take the risk. You cannot own your own time, because your time is already promised to the finance company. The wealthy buy assets that pay them, the trapped buy liabilities that bill them. That is the entire difference. Trap 2. The car finance treadmill. Now, the big one, the driveway. In 2026, roughly 4 in 5 new cars bought on finance in Britain are bought on PCP, personal contract purchase. And PCP is a beautiful piece of engineering, just not the kind under the bonnet. Here is how the trap closes. You do not pay for the car, you pay for the depreciation. £400 a month, give or take, for a shining new vehicle sat on the drive. But at the end of 3 years, you own precisely nothing. To actually keep the car, you must find a final lump sum, the balloon payment, often £10,000 or more. Almost nobody does. So you hand it back, and you sign again, and again. A £400 payment for the rest of your working life, for a car that is never once yours. Now run the numbers on what that £400 could have been. Over 10 years, that is nearly £50,000. Roughly the size of a house deposit across much of the country. The treadmill does not just cost you a car, it costs you the front door of your first home. You are not driving to work. You are driving in a circle. Trap 3. The taper wall. This next one is uniquely, painfully British. Imagine you are on universal credit, topping up a modest wage. Your manager offers you more hours, an extra £5 an hour, a real raise. You say, yes, obviously, who wouldn't? Then the letter arrives. For every extra pound you earn, above your work allowance, Universal Credit quietly claws back 55 pence. Stack income tax and national insurance on top, and for many working parents the combined bite reaches 70, even 80 pence in the pound. You climb the ladder, and the escalator drags you down almost as fast as you rise. You keep only pennies from every pound of that hard-won raise. And then there is the cliff, where the gentle taper becomes a solid wall. A parent earning £99,000 who accepts a £2,000 bonus, tipping them to £101,000, can lose free childcare hours, the tax-free childcare top-up, and slices of their personal allowance, all in the same instant. Analysts at AJ Bell calculated that a £2,000 raise in that exact spot can cost a family over £27,000, a pay rise that makes you dramatically poorer. That is the taper wall. And it is the reason so many Britons quietly refuse promotions, turn down overtime, and cap their own ambition. The system does not reward the next step, it punishes it. Trap 4. The maintenance plateau. You did it. You got onto the ladder. You bought the flat, or the old ex-council house, using right to buy, ownership, at last. Except you did not quite own it. Not all of it. Because so much of British property is leasehold, or comes bundled with shared structural liabilities, The bills that arrive have nothing whatsoever to do with your mortgage. The service charge that climbs every single year. The major works letter that lands one grey morning, demanding your share of a new roof. £10,000, due in 90 days. A decade of careful saving, wiped out by a single envelope. This is the plateau. You are technically a homeowner, but you cannot build wealth because the building itself keeps reaching into your pockets. Every time you get your head above the water, another maintenance bill pushes you straight back under. You are not climbing anymore, you are treading just to stay level. Trap 5. The 60% glass ceiling. And now the trap they never warn the ambitious about, the one that catches the high flyer. Somewhere between £100,000 and £125,000, £140, there is an invisible wall in the British tax code. HMRC does not print it on any rate card. Officially, the top rate here is 40%. Unofficially, it is 60%. Here is why. Once your income passes £100,000, HMRC begins to strip away your tax-free personal allowance. That first £12,570 you would normally keep. You lose £1 of it for every £2 you earn above the line. So, on that stretch of income, you are taxed at 40% and then taxed a second time on the allowance you are quietly losing. The result is an effective 60% marginal rate. For every extra pound you earn, you keep just 40p. This is the glass ceiling of the working professional. It is the wall between well-paid and wealthy. And it is precisely where the successful doctor, the senior engineer, and the rising manager suddenly discover that Britain has quietly decided they have earned quite enough. So, what do all 5 traps have in common? Picture yourself building a sandcastle on a British beach. That castle is your wealth. Every hour you work, you carry up another bucket of sand and pack it on, higher, grander. But the tide is coming in, the taxman's tide, and with every wave, it does not smash the castle down, it simply dissolves the base, quietly, constantly. Inflation, interest, tapers, service charges, all of it washing the sand back out to sea faster than you can ever carry it up. And here is the mistake almost everyone makes. They believe the answer is more sand, a bigger salary, more hours. So they haul faster and faster, and the tide simply takes more. More sand is not the answer is stone. You need a stone fortress, something the tide cannot dissolve. In Britain, that means sheltered ground the tax code is not allowed to reach. An ISA, where your growth is protected from tax entirely. A SIP, your pension, where the money goes in before the taxman ever lays eyes on it. Put your wealth on stone, and the tide keeps coming, but the walls hold. That is the entire game. So let us be honest about what mobility in Britain actually is. It is not the job title on your LinkedIn. It is not the size of the number you mention at dinner. 2 people can earn exactly the same and yet live in 2 completely different worlds, because one is standing on the escalator and the other quietly stepped off. The real measure is never what you earn, it is what you keep, not your income, but your net retention, the gap between what comes in and what these 5 traps drag back out. That gap, and only that gap, is the thing that ever becomes freedom. So protect the gap. Refuse to rent your lifestyle on monthly payments. Step off the car finance treadmill. See the taper wall before it ever hits you. Question every charge on the property you supposedly own. And when you reach the ceiling, reach for the shelter, not just for the bigger number. The escalator is always moving down, but the moment you can see it, you are no longer trapped on it. You are simply choosing your next step. And that choice, quietly protected, year after year, is how you finally climb. If this video helped, like and hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.